Uh, Teacher down here again. Early in the morning. It's very dark right now. And I just couldn't sleep anymore. So, on the subject of unruly parents and how to wrangle them, this is a very important idea. One job administrators have that they should be doing is wrangling unruly parents. Parents who walk in and stomp all over teachers and throw a fit and they get whatever they want. Your job, when you're the principal, is to handle that. And what I've been seeing the last several years is administrators don't want to do that. They don't want to wrangle these people. They don't want to handle them. They don't want to smack them down. Why? I don't know. Because when I was in administration, I didn't hesitate to call parents out for stuff. And I didn't hesitate to give it to them straight about discipline. And when they were out of line, I said, "You're out of line." I still do, actually, as a teacher. When I get, attacked by a parent, I'll say, "You're out of line." So, so I have a couple of examples. When parents walk in and tell lies, right, and they do. It's some reason we live in this culture where people just lie. They're full of shit. They make things up and say stuff that isn't true. I have two glaring examples. Actually, I have three glaring examples. Either lies, exaggerations, misrepresentations of things. I'll do them chronologically. How about that? One, had a dad whose kid was getting a low grade, right? And his dad was this asshole. And he totally intimidated the administrators, right? Because he's an attorney, right? He's going to take legal action. And they totally, that just caved into this guy. And I was sitting there going, why? The kid's got a low grade. I mean, he's not doing his work, right? But the administrators, man, they heard that. He's an attorney, he's going to take legal action. Whether or not he even said it, I don't even know if I believe that. But I looked this guy up. He's a small business attorney. He does that. I mean, we're talking office leases and payroll and shit like that. That's what he does. Small business, He's not a litigator. He's not a threat of any kind. But I didn't take the time to even look him up and find this out. So, there's that. There's one. Another one. Actually, that's not. No, same year, actually, later in the year. We had, in science, a unit that covered, decision making. It was basically about sex and about drugs and, safety, making good decisions. And so every year we had to send out a notification letter to all the families to say, this is our upcoming unit. We'll be covering this and that and talking about sex and contraception and, how to make good decisions in relationships. That's really what the focus was about making good decisions and keeping yourself safe. And about drugs, too. Okay? And I get this, it's a form letter. I mean, it's from the school district, and they wrote it. All we do is put our name on it and send it out. It's a notification. It's our upcoming unit. We put a little personal touch on it and send it out to everyone. I get this scathing reply, wherein this parent is going absolutely apeshit about transgender stuff and birth control, and everything in this reply was scientifically inaccurate, right? And then she signed it doctor. Now, immediately, of course, I know she's not a medical doctor. I knew this just from reading her thing. I mean, it's like everything here is medically inaccurate. This is all incorrect. So I went to DORA, which is the Department of Regulatory Agencies, where they list everyone who has some kind of a license, everyone who's licensed to practice something in the in the state, right, is listed in DORA. So that means doctors, it means, mental health practitioners, all kinds of people. I don't know. So I'm going to look her up. My first thought, of course, is you got everything wrong medically, so you must be a chiropractor, right? So I look her up there. No, not a chiropractor. So then my second thought is, okay, you're like an ophthalmologist, right? No, go look there, and couldn't find her there. So my third bet was she's a veterinarian. A lot of quacks in that field. So I go look her up, and sure enough, there she is. She's a vet. She signed her letter, doctor, not DVM, okay? Not just her name, but doctor. Now that's a misrepresentation of your credentials. You sign something doctor, everyone kind of is going to make the assumption you want to produce is that you're like a medical doctor for people. And she wasn't. She was a vet. All right, that's number 2. Number 3. So you got one guy saying, I'm an attorney, but it turns out he's a small business attorney. He's not a litigator. He's not gonna sue you. It's not his thing. He could. I mean, sure, but I doubt he's ever involved in lawsuits. He just does form stuff, business stuff. And he calls his law firm a boutique law firm. So that means it's just you, doesn't it? So you don't have any partners or anything. All right. So third, I got a guy who rocked up, and he's all pissed off again. His kid's grave is low. Kid didn't do his work. Kid's an asshole and clay. He shows up, and he's sitting very formal like. And we're sitting at stools at my tables in my room. And I'm kind of, leaning forward. I got my hands folded in my lap, listening intently. And he's throwing his little fit. And then first thing he does is he picks on my body language. I can tell from your body language you don't take this. And I'm just going, what do you mean? I'm sitting here in a stool. I'm leaning forward a little. My hands are folded in my lap. I'm paying attention. So, that was first, right? But then he threw a fit at me for like half an hour or something like that about his kid's a good kid and this and that and the other. And I'm just going, oh boy, your kid's a dick, man. Like, you need to straighten this kid out. But whatever. I just sat there and took it. But in that meeting, he lied about his credentials. He's like, I was a Marine, and I went to college, and I got a master's, and I got a government job. And I'm like, I don't know where this came from and how it's relevant to anything. But, I went and looked him up, too. And, he got a government job. He works for GSA in the Fed Center in Lakewood. He orders stuff. He's procurement. That's his job. I'm like, okay, that's a government job. That's true. But I looked up his education because, of course, he's got this very inflated and bloated CV written up on the website. You know, make it sound like he's a very insecure man. Make it sound like his stuff he's done is just really cool and exciting. I mean, it's not like you would write a regular CV, where you just kind of list your whatever work history and education. But I look at his education. He didn't get a master's degree. He went to community college in Texas for a couple of years, got an associate's in general studies. No shade there. I got nothing against that at all. That's great. And then he went to Texas A&M and he got a degree in political science. And that is the extent of his education. He does not have a master's. So he walks into a school, lies about that to people who have master's degrees. So for me, I have an immediate sort of like, I smell a lie. I'm like, you do not strike me as a guy who got a master's degree. And sure enough, he doesn't. He doesn't have one. So we're dealing with people who lie all the time. Kids lie all the time. Teachers lie. Parents lie. Administrators lie. And it's very, very difficult to navigate for somebody like me who's a fundamentally honest person. So anyway, I wanted to put that out there. My 2 cents. Teacher Dan, signing off.